is Laura from Laura's Handcrafted Treats and Treasures. Welcome to or back to my channel. All right, I have another little gift idea if you can find the supplies, because I did get mine early. And this is a mason jar shape. I got at Dollar Tree when they had their fall stuff, and I picked up a bunch of them because I knew exactly what I wanted to do with them. And I am using Carolyn Musings Gift of Grace Christmas Hymn Journal Kit, okay? So I really was looking for a way in the manger, and before I started, you know, you get so many kits, sometimes you can't remember what's in them all, and I haven't gotten to work with a lot of these kits, but I know I want to, so I download them, and I glanced through them, but I don't remember everything that was on there. So I went and looked at my stash, and I'm like, okay, oh, Christmas hymns. Wait, oh, Way in the Manger. There it is. That's the one I wanted. Okay. Although I'm doing several different ones. This is an 8. When I printed this 8 by 10. So I shrunk it down. If you're not familiar with that, when you go to that particular picture, you right click and you hit print. On my computer, it comes up and it allows me to do full page, fit to board, or 2 to a page, 5 by 7, and then it has an 8 by 10, because I was trying to capture as much of this for this small space that I could. Okay, so I'm using that, and I'm also using, let me get this out of the way, of course, these mason jar. And so now this is like a really thick particle board. And on this one, I got to do some touch-ups. On this one, it didn't have like all the painting and stuff that the other ones had. This was just a smooth border. And so all I used was the wax. I use the antique wax. You brush it on and then you kind of wipe it off. It's almost like using a stain. But on these, it would have been a lot of sanding, trying to get into the crooks and crevices. And I thought, I just wanted my back to be finished off. I think it looks nicer. You don't turn it around and just see it yucky. This is all going to be covered. But for this one, I used apple, let's see, it's Apple Barrel's acrylic, what's the color? Oh, burnt umber. So I used burnt umber. You can use any that you want, and that was literally just to cover my back, do my sides, and I did a little bit in here just in case you could see through the paper. We'll get to that. I also used, and I don't have the whole kit anymore, but at Dollar Tree, this whole thing, let's see if I can find the other ones. This all came in a little kit, like in the craft section, like for the kids. And it actually came with the Wiseman, I believe. But I didn't need the Wiseman. And then it had where you stood it up. And it had little things on the bottom. And you stood it up, and then it could sit on your shelf. But obviously, I wanted mine to lay down. So I don't have a picture to show you. It might be in the other video, but it has these little stands at the bottom that you put into this stand. If you're there, you know. If you've been there and you've seen them, you know. But anyway, all I did was, and I didn't use my good scissors, you can just literally chop them off. And I chopped everything off. I went ahead and stained all of these again with the Waverly Antique wax. And I stained all of them and then did the wipe off and everything. And then these, and thank you to everyone on Miss Carolyn's channel who I couldn't decide, because last year I had done stain on stain. And when I put these together, I don't know, I had more room in the last one and this just didn't look right. So I did a shout out and everybody was so gracious to answer, and hence we did black on stain. I love it. I just love them. Okay. And this I used, this is from Dollar General, matte finish chalk paint, and it works really great. One of the Dollar Tree creators I follow, Kristen K, she recommended that. It's one coat, and she was correct. It didn't take very much. All right, let's get those out of the way. Now, if you have, I know when I checked at my Dollar Tree, just one, They did not have the nativity set, so maybe you can find it, but you might not be able to find this. If not, I believe in their section, I think this is where I got that from. They would have this in Dollar Tree, and I think it's in their wood section, but you could almost do the same thing. And remember, that's not going to be on the stained wood. And then if you get one of their bamboo cutting boards, you could actually, with that one, although you'd have to do something for the music paper, but you could do that one, and then you obviously have enough. But if you did find this, and you can cut it down too if it's too big, but this would be kind of cool too. And you could do the Holy Family, and then you could do the wise men on either side. So anyway, there's just a couple, just a couple options for you. So let me get this out of the way, and we're going to get started. Okay, to make the video a little bit quicker, I have done some of the prep work. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, you can see I have a different color here, and you're going to want to, after you get your painting done, if that's what you choose to do, you're going to want to put Mod Podge. So you only really need to put Mod Podge up to about this level right here, because your paper's only going to go up so far. So you're going to get those and put a nice thick coat on there. It's going to even out and smooth out, and even smooth out more once we get going. But put a nice thick coat on there. Once you have that done, what I did was I took one of my mason jars, and I sort of held it up to my window. If you have a light, if you have a lamp or whatever that you can hold it up to. But I film right here by my window. So I held it up to the window. I kind of got it where I wanted it. And when I did that, I also used one of the metal pieces that came with it. Oh, I should mention too, I had to take all of these off. I just heated them up a little bit with a heat gun and got them off. And then there was also, they had a leaf on there, and I did the same thing and got it off. So I had to peel some of the glue off, but it was fine. So where I want this to go is just about here, because I still want to see Silent Night, Holy Night. All right, so once I did that, I cut all of these down, and I just cut around them, and I'm going to do that in a minute, because there's another step I want to get going before we get going too far. All right, now let's talk about the metal pieces. So as you can see on this one, I've changed it. I did not like the galvanized. It was too bright. I was looking for more subdued and something more in the gold. So this is what I did. This is called Rub and Buff, okay? And again, I have seen other people use it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to use some Rub and Buff. So I'm going to do one of these with you now, and I just take a glove. You can find gloves. This is one of my good gloves I don't normally use, because I use these for food. But what I did was, I'm going to get all of them over here because I want to get them done. So I took my gold, and I just squirted a little bit out, and then I just rubbed it all along. And I didn't care if it was rough looking. And I'm doing this part right now because I want this to dry before I move on to the second step. Because once I got this done, it was, again, too stark. It wasn't quite what I was going for. So I'm going to layer it on pretty thick. And, you know, I would suggest wearing a glove, although it will come off. Well, most of it came off during my hand washing. It's still not, it takes a minute. It takes a little bit. And I'm really trying to get in there and make sure I don't have any metal showing. I can always do a second coat, but then I patted it too, where I thought I could still see some of the galvanized. I patted it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting all of these done, and then I'll be back. And this stuff does have a smell. This stuff does have a smell to it, so it might not hurt to wear something or do it in a ventilated area. It's not horrible, but you never know. So, all right, I'm going to get these done, and I'll be back. Okay, I have these done. I already had 3 done that I had done the other day. And I'm going to show you how to do the rest of the process on these. This is something you might want to do. It dries pretty quick, but since I globbed it on there, obviously it's going to take a little bit longer. So maybe like get them all done an hour before you do the project. So I'm going to get those out of the way. And then this one, you can see how I've put the Mod Podge on the other 3. And this is the one that had it on and ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is I have cut this out, and it's not perfect. I do have a little bit hanging over the edges, but I'm not worried about that. It's going to be fine. So here's the reason for the Mod Podge. In fact, I have to get another piece of parchment paper. I'll be back. Okay, since I've started doing them this way, all my stuff this way, I just don't do it any other way. This is so quick and easy, and it saves a lot of time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to center that. I'm also going to bring in one of my lids that is done, and I'd already measured it before, but I'm just double checking that I do have, I'm going to be able to see the Silent Night up there. And then I'm going to hold it steady where it needs to be. Put my parchment paper on, and then I'm just using my tiny little iron hair. It's an HTV Ront, R-O-N-T, from Walmart. It works perfectly. I love this thing too. And then I'm just going to start to slightly move around. I'm not pressing super hard because I want that glue to take hold before I start pressing and moving, because I don't want my paper underneath to move. And then I'm just going to start giving it a little bit more pressure, and I'm really going to go around all of these edges. So that's going to kind of turn them down a little bit. Yep. And then I'm going to just continue until I get all of these pressed on. And what I like about this method is if there's a spot that I missed, I can always go back and do it again. I make sure they're pretty good before that. And I get them on there really well. And then, boom, it's glued. So awesome. Okay. Now, at this point, if I wanted to, if it bothers me enough, where's my scissors? Well, okay. I can go through and trim, or you can take a nail file or a piece of sanding paper, and you can just sand that off a little bit, which I don't like to do too much of, because then I don't want to have to go back and redo my wood. But see, you can do it just like that. Then once I get it where I want it, which, like I said, nobody's going to do this. Well, if they do, they shouldn't be. You tell them that. You tell them I said so. All right, I'm going to try to get that back down now that I messed with it. Okay. Also, at this point, I would go back over it with a light coat of Mod Podge, okay, because I want to seal that in. And then you can either, or you can take it and spray it once everything's on. You can take a, you know, an acrylic spray type thing that's a coat, that's a sealant, and do it that way. But once you Mod Podge it with that light coat, you're going to start to see bubbles lift, and that's okay. Wait for it to dry. Put your parchment paper back over it, and smooth it on out. And I think I showed that in the first video. So I'm not going to go through all of the steps at this point either. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my vintage photo or whatever color you want, which actually a dark espresso would look good too. And then I'm going to do these edges just to bring that out. Even before I Mod Podge it, I'm going to do that. Just to get those rough edges blended into the side. See? Okay. I'm going to go ahead actually and put my thin coat of Mod Podge on because I can't do anything else until I move on to that step. So I'll be back. Okay. So I thought I would show you how it bubbles. And I didn't think of it until just now, but you can use your heat gun as well to speed this process up and to speed this process up. I don't use my heat gun very often because I get little glimpses of time in my room. So I'll run in and do something and then I'll go do whatever else I have to do. So I'm going to speed this up and then show you how I iron it back out. Okay, that didn't take very long at all. Let me get my other little machine plugged in here. Got a hot glue gun going on over here too, so. All right. That plugged back in. It shouldn't take that long to heat up. And I forgot to tell you, I put the setting on 2. I think 3 is a little bit too high. So then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my parchment paper again. And I know this is still warm, so I'm just going to start rubbing it out. Oh, there it goes to tell me it's done. And at this point, you want to keep lifting up that parchment paper. So when you put the Mod Podge on, I make it, I just do a very quick, light coat, and I don't play with it too much because I don't want my paper to rip back off. So I'm just going to press a little bit harder here. And what do we got? What do we got? It feels nice and smooth. Yay! Okay. So, at this point, we can start gluing on our pieces. So I just use my glue gun. And then some of these I noticed I didn't get in here very well, and I want to go back because that will just bug me. I don't know, you probably won't see it from this way, so I might leave it, but for now, I'm going to use this one. And then let me get my example because I also wanted to leave enough space so that I can wrap the jute around it. Or as I like to say, the binder twine. Yeah, I'm forever calling it binder twine. That looks about right. So you can kind of measure out, you know, where you think that's going to be. I think that looks about good. And we can get those glued on. So let me grab my glue gun. It doesn't take a lot. Or you can use wood glue. You can use, I think on that one I used art glitter glue. Yeah, there's a lot of tools I don't think to grab out until after the fact. Come on. Especially ones that give me a hard time. Like, it'd just be easier for me to throw some art glitter glue on there. Okay, so let me put this, let's see, and get my spot again. I think it was about right here. Oh, I need to go over a little bit. That's probably why I used the art glitter glue because I just felt like I had a little more time. Where sometimes with your hot glue, yeah, see, I just don't have the time to move it around and mess with it. So let's get rid of that one and go to a different one. All right, let's try this one. I've already got some glue on there, but I guess I was able to get it off without ruining it. Okay, I'm going to go back to my art glitter glue. Although it does stick very fast. It doesn't stick as fast on wood as it does on paper, and I can move it around a little bit. All right, let's try that again. I feel like I was right about here. Okay, that looks good. Oop, see, don't move it around too much, and it dries clear. So that's a good thing. There we go. Although it dries clear, I don't want that little spot in there. Okay, there we go. I feel better. I feel good. Na 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 na. All right, we're gonna put baby Jesus and then Joseph. Okay, so glue the rest of those on there, and we're gonna move on to this part, or how I decorated these. And then the jute twine's pretty easy. I mean, you just wrap it around, and then I glued it. I glued everything, and I used my art glitter glue. Oh, and I also put this to be hung. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that part first. Then we'll get them all together. Okay, let me get this out of the way, because you don't need to sit and watch me glue, I don't think. All right, so I'm going to bring in my paper. And my other ones are actually almost dry, so I might use the heat gun to speed that up. Then what I did was I took some of the Spanish copper rub and buff, and I'm just going to use this for this because I want to make sure I can dab it off. Let me grab something to dab it off on. And then I'm pretty sure I used this brush, it looks like it. And then I just got a little bit on my brush. I'm pretty sure this was the one I used. And then I just started to kind of stipple that on there. And I always like to start at my edges, because, you know, when you're doing this and you start from the center and you're always going to the center, I always feel like the center gets all the globs, but nothing else does. And then you just keep doing this until you're happy with it. Like, I feel like this needs a little bit more, and then, yeah. And that is how I sort of created this look. There we go. So I'm going to finish these up. I'm going to get the rest of the other ones cut up, ready to go. And then I think I'll come back and show you how I glued on the top And like I said, wrapping the jute twine, that's pretty self-explanatory. So I'll be back when all of that's done. Okay. Okay, everyone, I was going to come back and do some gluing with you, but then I just got going and I couldn't stop. So everything else was, like I said, pretty self-explanatory. So I will just sort of go through what I did. I have all these little leafy things, as you can see. So I just went through and picked out, you know, kind of what matched. And I see I've got to go back and glue that one back down. I liked them down a little bit, and maybe I never glued that one to begin with. I did use a hot glue gun for that. And I don't have a lot of these type of decorative supplies, but I keep a few around for when I want to do projects like this. Then I had these little berries, and I want to say I probably got them from Dollar Tree. Could have been Hobby Lobby. And then I just took my little snips here, and then I would snip off what I needed and glued it right where I snipped. So I glued them, and then I took my jute twine, and I was going to tell you too, I got this when everything at Hobby Lobby was 50% off. So go look at their ribbons, because you can find stuff like this in there. So I got these for $1.50, and I did use almost 2 rolls. And then I went ahead and made bows. And I know some people, I have a lot of new subscribers, so some people have not seen my bunny ear bows. If this is helpful, we make bunny ears. I'm a horrible bow maker. This is the only way I can make my bows come out right. So we make bunny ears, and we take left over right, bring it through the hole, let this come to this side. So now your strand from the left is on the right, and the right is on the left. And then we're just going to pull that tight and kind of wiggle it around to where we need it. And then you have a perfect bow. It's the only way I can seem to make bows that aren't wonky. All right, so anyway, check out that jute twine, binder twine. I also used this, so when I was pressing down, now on the jute twine, I did start to use like a little bit of the glue, hot glue gun, but I didn't like I could see things seeping through, and I didn't like that. So I switched it pretty quickly, and then I did use the hot glue on the back and then use this to press it down. But then I used my art glitter glue to hold this down, and same as at the top. I used the hot glue to put the bow on. So that's pretty much it for that. And then I did, as I was looking, I had to find another Mary, because Mary's hands were, on one of them, were chopped off. I don't know, like they didn't make it through the little thing. But this is what I was talking about. It comes like this. And I'll show you what, this was the cutting board from Dollar Tree. And so obviously I don't have Mary now because I had to use her. So I probably won't keep any of these pieces. But here you go. If you wanted to do the wise men and do something like this on your board, a bigger board, then you could do this. You could even maybe cover up that seam and have, you know, the manger scene over here, Mary over here. And then, so what I was trying to tell you also was it comes with this stand. So it has these little things that poke out, so you can put them in the stand, and you can just cut them off with your scissors. Okay, so as you can see, I have them all here. You probably can't see all of them in the shot, but I have 6 lovely ladies that are going to each get one of these. Our group at church gets together and we do quilting, although I don't sew. I sew paper. I usually help cut or whatever they need me to do. Sewing is not my forte. And then I had this one, and I only had one, otherwise I would have done it for all of them. And this just all came together, and I happen to have it in my stash. So this one's going to be mine. O come, Emmanuel. My favorite Christmas song is Go Tell It on the Mountain. but this would be a close second. So I have one for myself that's going to get hung up for the Christmas season, and then each lady will get one of these. And this is why you're not going to see this until after December 8th. But I hope you found this fun. I felt like this video was a little discombobulated, and I debated whether to put it up or not. But I haven't done a video in a while because I had done so many prior and then scheduled them to come out that I just hadn't done one, and I felt like I was a fish out of water. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you can find some supplies to make this. I love them the way they came out, and just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas if I don't see you before the end of the year. Bye.